continue is Bhagavad Gita talk as. Alright. So just if you could somehow swiftly organize on this side, then I can sit here.
No.
Här på gräs. Så jag är de här vez, sa jag. Det var roligt. Hello.
Tu baixas. Você fechou uma steia.
Tomasz?
Okej.
Ja.
A je okej. Ti już ty bejo. Komputerrätten?
Alright. So now we can continue with Bhagavad Gita class, and if you like to sit like this, it's fine. Otherwise, normally the audience is like facing the. Even though I'm not so qualified, I just like this. Yeah. If it is fine for you, feel back hurt, you can see.
Ja.
Wonderful, thank you so much for joining us so nicely, putting a good energy. You came in such a nice number here to join us. Even though we are not professionals, we are trying what has been asked or initiated by our spiritual masters to chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra with as many people as possible, because then everyone can be happy, can be relieved from this materialistic, chaotic stress, and relieved from the tension of, always the mind come with new and new ideas what to do next, where to go to get some happiness. It actually said that way to hell is very difficult actually, because we have to do so many things, but way to heaven is very easy. We can just sit, we can chant, we can remember the Supreme, we can meditate, we can pray, God, divine, and in this way our consciousness can purify. So this is the process, and everyone can join us. It's very simple. We can use all senses, and everyone can feel the effect. Alright, so Bhagavad Gita, it was 1 week ago, I guess, Gita Jayanti. Well, who knows Bhagavad Gita? Say, do you know? Have you heard about Bhagavad Gita? Alright. Sarah, right? You heard about, because you didn't.
I don't think I have though.
So Bhagavad Gita is a very famous book. I always, when there are some new people, at least try to really introduce. Bhagavad Gita is 5,000 years old. It's concluded or established, accepted as a discussion of divine or God, Krishna, with Arjuna. And Bhagavad Gita means the song of a God. And why song? Because in spiritual world, every word is a song, and every step is a dance. So in the spiritual world, we have information that there is constantly singing going on, and everyone is very happy, and it's ever increasing. So Bhagavad Gita is knowledge, is a science, is a guide, and it's a beautiful guide, a beautiful map how to bring the life to perfection of knowledge of oneself, of God, or relationship with this material energy or this material nature, and of the spiritual nature as well, of the time. So these are the portions, these are these sections Bhagavad Gita deals with. And today we will look into the most interesting part. It's called like the essence, we can say, of Bhagavad Gita, also because it's hidden, or we can say placed in the middle of Bhagavad Gita. So there are chapters of Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga before. Yoga, word yoga means a connection. And these different processes explain how to connect. The Bhagavad Gita deals with Bhakti Yoga, but explain how the Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga works, just to elevate the consciousness to the stage where one understands this is nature, the relationship to God. And then other parts are again explains the Bhakti Yoga and knowledge of the of Krishna consciousness. So this 9th chapter we will read from is called the most confidential knowledge. There is little longer purport, like 4 pages or so. We'll try to read it. If you will feel to, then we can skip it. And maybe, yes. Alright, so I just quickly read it. So, reading from Bhagavad Gita, 9th chapter, text number 2. Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam Bhavitramidam Uttamam Pratyakshavagam Dharmyam Susukham Kartumavyayam. You can learn some Sanskrit. Originally, this lyric is Sanskrit. This is the oldest language on the planet. All other, there is a resource. I was watching a documentary short, just like Facebook did a real estate documentary like that. All the other languages are confirmed to come from this Sanskrit, and all sages and all yogis actually have written their knowledge, their understanding and conclusions in this Sanskrit. We can learn something today because these words are very actually used often. So Raja Vidya, Raja, we also can find Raja in a connection with king. Raja means also king. Vidya means knowledge. And Pavitram, do you have Pavitra on your neck?
Yes.
So we call Pavitra often. This is also called Pavitra. If you ever wonder what kind of, what do you call it, string we carry, this is called Pavitra. Pavitra means pure. What else do we have? Uttama means transcendental. Susukham is also a very nice word. It means joyful. And dharmya means dharma. Alright, translation from His Divine Grace. Srila Prabhupad. Translation. This knowledge is the king of education. The most secret of all secrets is the purest knowledge, and because of its direct perception of self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and is joyfully performed. Alright, I probably need a lot of time, sorry. Alright, I'll start to read purport already. Don't tell me if I apologize that my English is not good. Alright. Purport. This chapter of Bhagavad Gita is called the King of Education because it is essence of all doctrines and philosophies explained before. There are 7 principal philosophers in India: Gautama, Kananda, Kapila, Yagya, Valkya, Shinirila, Vaishnava, and finally Vyasadeva, the author of the Vedanta Sutra. So there is no depth of knowledge in the field of philosophy of transcendental knowledge. Now the Lord says that this 9th chapter is the king of all such knowledge, the essence of all knowledge that can be derived from the study of Vedanta and different kind of philosophy. It is the most confidential because confidential transcendental knowledge involves understanding the difference between soul and the body. And the king of all confidential knowledge culminates in devotional service. Generally, people are not educated in the confidential knowledge. They are educated in external knowledge. As far as ordinary education is concerned, people are involved in so many departments: politics, sociology, physics, chemistry, mathematics, astronomy, engineering, etc. There are so many departments of knowledge all over the world and many huge universities, but there is unfortunately no university or educational institution where the science of spirit soul is instructed. Yet, the soul is the most important part of this body. Without the presence of the soul, the body has no value. Still, people are placing great stress on the bodily necessities of life, not caring for the vital soul. The Bhagavad Gita, especially from the 2nd chapter stresses the importance of the soul. In the very beginning, the Lord says that this body is perishable and that the soul is not perishable. That is the confidential part of knowledge. Simply knowing that spirit soul is different from this body and that its nature is immutable, indestructible and eternal. But it gives no positive information about the soul. Sometimes people are under the impression that the soul is different from the body and that when the body is finished or one is liberated from the body, the soul remains in a void and become impersonal. But actually that is not the fact. How can the soul, which is so active within this body, be inactive after being liberated from the body? It is always active. If it is eternal, then it is eternally active, and its activities in the spiritual kingdom are the most confidential part of spiritual knowledge. These activities of the spirit soul are therefore indicated here as constituting the king of all knowledge, the most confidential part of all knowledge. This knowledge is the purest form of all activities, as is explained in the Vedic literature. In Padma Purana, man's sinful activities have been analyzed and are shown to be results of sins after sins. Those who are engaged in fruitive activities are entangled in different stages and forms of sinful reactions. For instance, when the seed of a particular tree is sown, the tree doesn't appear immediately to grow. It takes some time. It is first small, sprouting plant, then it assumes the form of a tree, then it flowers, bears fruit, and when it is complete, the flower and fruits are enjoyed by persons who have sown the seed of the tree. Similarly, a man performs sinful acts, and like a seed, it takes time to fructify. There are different stages. The sinful action may have already stopped within the individual, but the result or the fruit of that sinful action are still enjoyed. There are sins which are still in the form of a seed, and there are others which are already fructifying, giving us fruit, which we are enjoying as distress and pain, as explained in the 20th verse of 7th chapter. A person who has completely ended the reaction of all sinful activities and who is fully engaged in pious activities, being freed from the duality of this material world, become engaged in devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. In other words, those who are actually engaged in devotional service of the Supreme Lord are already wives of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All sinful reactions, whether fructified in the stock or in the form of a seed, gradually vanish. Therefore, the purifying potency of devotional service is very strong and is called Pavitram Uttamam, the purest. Uttama means transcendental. Tamas means the material world or darkness. And Uttamam means the which is transcendental to material activities. Devotional activities are never to be considered material, although sometimes it appears the devotees are engaged just like ordinary men. One who can see and is familiar with devotional service, however, will know that they are not material. Are you okay? Can I continue? Yes. They are all spiritual and devotional, uncontaminated by the material modes of nature. It is said that the execution of devotional service is so perfect that one can perceive the one can perceive the results directly. This direct result is actually perceived, and we have practical experience that any person who is chanting the holy names of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, in course of time feel some transcendental pleasure and very quickly become purified of all material contamination. This is actually seen. Furthermore, if one engage not only in hearing but in trying to broadcast the message of devotional activities as well, or if he engage himself in helping the missionary activities of Krishna consciousness, he gradually feels spiritual progress. This advancement in spiritual life doesn't depend on any kind of previous education or qualification. The method itself is so pure that by simply engaging in it, one becomes pure. In the Vedanta Sutra, this is also described in the following words: Prakashat cha karmani abhihasat. Devotional service is so potent that simply by engaging in activities of devotional service, one becomes enlightened without a doubt. Narada, who happened to be the son of maidservant, had no education, nor was he born in a high family. But when his mother was engaged in serving great devotees, Narada also became engaged, and sometimes, in the absence of his mother, he would serve the great devotees himself. Narada personally says, "Once only, by their permission, I took the remnants of their food, and by so doing, all my sins were at once eradicated. Thus being engaged, I became purified in heart, and at the time, the very nature of the transcendental became attractive to me." This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, 1st Canto 5th, chapter 25, verse. Narada tells his disciple Vyasadeva that in a previous life he was engaged as a boy servant of purified devotees during 4 months of their stay, and that he was intimately associating with them. Sometimes those sages left remnants of food on their dishes, and the boy who would wash the dishes wanted to taste the remnants. So he asked the great devotees whether he could eat them, and they gave their permission. Narada then ate those remnants and consequently became freed from all sinful reaction. As he went on eating, he gradually became as pure-hearted as the sages, and he gradually developed the same taste. The great devotees relished the taste of unceasing devotional service of the Lord, hearing, chanting, etc. And by developing the same taste, Narada wanted also to hear and chant the glories of the Lord. Thus, by associating with the sages, he developed a great desire for devotional service. Therefore, he quotes from the Vedanta Sutra, "Prakashascha karmani abhyasat." One is engaged simply in the acts of devotional service. Everything is revealed to him automatically, and he can understand. This is called Prakash, directly perceived. Narada was actually a son of maidservant. He had no opportunity to go to school. He was simply assisting his mother, and fortunately his mother rendered some service to the devotees. The child Narada also got the opportunity, and simply by association achieved the highest goal of all religious, devotional service. In the Srimad Bhagavatam it is said that the religious people generally do not know that the highest perfection of religious is the attainment of the stage of devotional service. Generally, Vedic knowledge is required for the understanding of the path of self-realization. But here, although he was not educated in the Vedic principle, Narada acquired the highest result of Vedic study. This process is so potent that even without performing the religious process regularly, one can be raised to the highest perfection. How is this possible? This is also confirmed in Vedic literature. Acharyavan Purusa Veda, one who is in association with great Acharya, even if he is not educated or has not studied the Vedas, can become familiar with all the knowledge necessary for realization. The process of devotional service is a very happy one. Why? Devotional service consists of Shravan, Kirtan, Vishnu, so one can simply hear the chanting of the glories of the Lord, or can attend philosophical lectures on transcendental knowledge given by authorized acharyas. Simply by sitting, one can learn. Then one can eat the remnants of the food offered to God, nice palatable dishes. In every state, devotional service is joyful. One can execute devotional service even in the most poverty-stricken condition. The Lord says, "Patra pushpam phalam." He is ready to accept from the devotee any kind of offering, never mind what, even a leaf or flower, a bit of fruit, or a little water, which are all available in every part of the world, can be offered by any person regardless of social position and will be accepted if offered with love. There are many instances in history. Simply by tasting the tulsi leaf offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, great sages like Sanat Kumara become great devotees. Therefore, the devotional process is very nice, and it can be executed in a happy mood. God accepts only the love with which things are offered to Him. It is said here that this devotional service is eternally existing. It is not as the Mayavadi philosopher claimed. They sometimes take to so-called devotional service, and as long as they are not liberated, they continue their devotional service. But at the end, when they become liberated, their devotional service, they continue to become sorry. But in the end, when they become liberated, they become one with God. In how do we call this in English?
Quote marks.
Quote marks.
Quotation marks, yes.
Thank you. Such temporary time serving devotional service is not accepted as pure devotional service. Actually, devotional service continue even after liberation, when the devotee goes to the spiritual planet. In the kingdom of God, he is also engaged there in serving the Supreme Lord. He doesn't try to become one with the Supreme Lord. As it will be seen, actually, devotional service begins after liberation. So in Bhagavad Gita, it is said, Brahma Bhuta, after being liberated or being situated in the Brahma position, one's devotional service begins. By executing devotional service, one can understand the Supreme Lord. No one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by executing Karma Yoga, Jnana, or Ashtanga, or any other yoga independently. Without coming to the stage of devotional service, one cannot understand what is the personality of Godhead. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is also confirmed that when one becomes purified by executing the process of devotional service, especially by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita from realized souls, then he can understand the signs of Krishna or the signs of God. Evam Rasana Manaso Bhagavad Bhakti Yogataha. When one's heart is cleared of all nonsense, then one can understand what God is. Thus, the process of devotional service of Krishna consciousness is the king of all education and the king of all confidential knowledge. It is the purest form of religion. It can be executed joyfully without difficulty. Therefore, one should adopt it. Thank you so much for your kind patience and attention. I was thinking like, oh, but what's better than to read Prabhupada's purport? There is all essence. I don't need to basically say anything more. I just try to here and there my very small realization. But Srila Prabhupada very beautifully explained all signs. So I just offer prayer to my spiritual master. Hare Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Gaur Bhaktivinoda, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Ram Ram. Right. So I made a little notes here. We are going so quick now. I was just discussing to the Vidrata Govinda. So I was just recording whatever I wanted to note. And then my phone just made transition, and I just copied it, put to the computer. It was amazing achievement. Yeah. So in this way, we attend. Can you please pass me one pill? In this way, we achieving knowledge from here and there about this and that. But what is the knowledge? As Srila Prabhupada explaining in Bhagavad Gita, this knowledge is simply connected only with this material body, this 5 dimensions, and even though the scientists they explain. Breathe.
You are all over the place.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm concentrating.
Okay. You're okay. Take your time.
So this knowledge can be about this and about that, but when the scientists they understand that our senses can receive just certain amount of information, right? We still don't see the connection of the phones with the satellites and other things, or the internet coming, or there are the whistles for dogs, no? They vibrate on certain level, certain vibration. So our senses are not very perfect. So in this way, our experience of the reality is very limited. So therefore, Krishna the Supreme Personality, he is explaining, or I'm sending my associates or my agents, devotees or my son, or I come myself. So therefore may arise the question of why so many religions are on this planet. So they are all actually talking about the same thing, but because of not very scientific process of realizing these scriptures, it's becoming more just like some philosophy, but there is no as here in this verse is explained that it can be experienced, this wisdom. So here Srila Prabhupada is explaining that the meaning of all religious is actually not means just to put a mark on yourself, on your identity. I'm Christian or I'm a Muslim or I'm Jewish, this and that. The real religion, or as explained by Bhagavad Gita, Dharma is that I am the part and parcel of absolute truth, of the supreme whole or of God, and my nature is to reciprocate, to hear, and to Shravan Kirtan, to reciprocate, to hear the guidance and to glorify, to be in connection and to be engaged in this loving service to the supreme whole. In this world, we are engaging so many ways. We having job, we having partner, families, whatever, friends, and that's natural for us. We search for certain things. We don't. It's naturally from our mind or heart. It's coming. We want to do something. We want to have relationships. But here Krishna is explained. This is the king of the knowledge because why? Because this knowledge can actually give us idea on which point we should base our lives. So mostly these all relationships are based on the goal of enjoying this body. Therefore our families are having certain, it's called rasa, our flavor of relationship, our friendships, because our direction, our goal is to satisfy this body, because there is no alternative, there is no different idea. Nobody teaches us in school, right? So they teaches us just how to work in this material world, get money like that. But we can see more and more, I don't remember the Sanskrit, but it's said that material world is just chewing the truth, people experiencing the same thing again and again. So here also Krishna is why he's saying this is very confidential knowledge, because it's not for everyone. Not that Krishna, he would not want to give it to everyone. He would love to, but not everyone is ready to accept that this society is not all in all. This is not a very natural state of living. And if you try to go to street as we trying to please our spiritual master, to go to distribute these books, this knowledge, you can see that some people will react like they will, tap in your hand like, what do you deal with? You find a job, what is your this is your foundation, what is your inspiration? You're lazy, so they always this. Here we didn't met so much. People are more like alright with this, but in Slovakia or Czech they are often, right? People come, what are you doing? Find a job, man. Get a wife and get some children, But here Krishna is explaining that this material world is very temporary and limited. So he's giving this king of the knowledge how to, why he is comparing, I was listening to a class, king. What does it mean, king? If we can, if I say king, what do you relate to king?
A ruler.
Alright, that's a nice one. Somebody?
High position.
Alright.
A man who serves.
Man who serves.
Perhaps a fatherly figure.
There's also. Yeah, so the first one was the most, that he has a kingdom. So in different words means that he conquered something. He had to conquer and establish his kingdom. So It's very beautiful. Krishna is absolute, and whatever word he's using is perfectly fitting. As Srila Prabhupada was explaining, my purpose are not just I'm writing. I have to be 108% focused what I write, because these are instructions how to free the spirit from the material contamination and give it the real life in connection with Krishna. So the king of the knowledge. Why? Because it's conquering all this material attachment and establishing the real spiritual transcendental knowledge which is beyond this. Of course, we have to have knowledge how to, make certain things, car, whatever. Alright, we need also some knowledge. We are not trying to go to Himalayas and everyone see that. But we have to have knowledge, but Srila Prabhupada is giving a knowledge, he's giving the explanation without the knowing the self, the soul, fully realizing, as here is explained, directly realizing, knowing the God, knowing our relationship and knowing the nature of this world or nature of reality. All these other knowledges are just like zero. But if we bring the spiritual knowledge, Srila Prabhupada explains like to put the one before these zeros. So the more, then we can just what we call this mark, to make it more to magnify to, we just make from 0, 10 or 100 or 1,000 or million. Amplify. Thank you so much. So, but this knowledge, so it's coming from Krishna, because if we want to get some knowledge, we also have to be conscious where this knowledge coming from, right? There are so many conspiracy theories about this, about that, material world, but what's more about spiritual world too. Anyone, there are so many books you can find in library of spiritual topics, and if you look to the life of these writers, you will find out that this man smokes, drinks, and then he has, this opulence, these many partners, and these things. So we also have to be conscious where is our knowledge coming from. So therefore Krishna is explained, this is Pavitram, this knowledge is very pure, because Krishna is supremely pure. God is have to be pure, otherwise you wouldn't be God. So therefore this knowledge is pure, and therefore is giving the higher taste, because it's directly resonating with the soul. So to understand this knowledge, we also have to become pure. And then we can't, people are arguing, God doesn't exist, God does exist. God is Jesus, God is Jehovah, God is Allah, like this. But these people they are not qualified to understand the nature of God. Even if they would understand, there would be no fighting between these religions, because they would understand the connection. So we also have to become pure to understand God. Srila Prabhupada was explaining, what is your qualification to say whether God exists or not? If you commit certain process of a realization of God, then you can understand. See? So this process of Bhakti Yoga, which content of Shravan Kirtan, of hearing the Bhagavad Gita, the words of God or of Krishna, and other scriptures of Srimad Bhagavatam, they're meant to purify our consciousness, our heart. Chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is meant to purify our consciousness. Seeing the beautiful form of Krishna is meant to purify our senses. Cooking, eating food offered to Krishna is also meant to purify our senses, our consciousness. From what? From the material contamination. What is the material contamination? The limitation for our spiritual life, for our joyful, as here it says, susukham kartumavayam, our joyful life. So Srila Prabhupada is explaining, if you are hungry and somebody give you food, you feel nourished. If there is a fish on the shore, on land, and we try to bring her, keys from the house, new house, keys from the car, or I don't know, cigarettes or LSD or something, and the fish. No, if you take the fish and put it to the water, the fish naturally feel very happy, very natural. So the same, with spiritual knowledge, with purifying our heart from this material contamination which are limiting ourselves, because material contamination means I think I'm this body, I'm Slovakian, I'm Russian, I'm American, I'm this and that, this is my family, this is my nation, and this is my nation, I need to protect it because I was born in slave. So it's explained in Shastra that such a person is not different from a cow, because the cow just care about where is good grass where she was born, she doesn't need to. So human life is different, it's meant to realize I'm spirit, soul, I'm not this temporary dead body, because obviously there is difference between dead body and a live body. So who am I? So this process is very simple and very recommended for this age when people are not so inclined for spiritual. We are lazy, we have so many speculations, even in not even in material platform, the what do we call them, conspiracy theories are, but in the spiritual too, somebody says something, somebody believes, somebody no. So we need process to purify them. When we become pure, we can understand things how they are. So this is the actual qualification to get purified, to understand what my nature is. Because some spiritualists, right? In our material conditions, the actual inspiration is to become a center of everything. And we understand already we have to live somehow with somebody, but it is forced upon us. We are forced in certain situation to act in certain way. Therefore, sometimes we shout out at somebody, and then we are sorry for, because we are not controlled. Our mind is completely out of, control. So spiritual knowledge means to be yogi, means to control the senses, to control the mind, tongue, eyes. And Bhakti Yoga explains how very easily we can connect by hearing, by we need to eat, we offer to God, to Krishna, and then any aspect of the life can be offered in bhakti, in this way of purification. So, and yes, because in this world we are conditioned by illusion. Think we are this body, we are polluted by propensity to cheat. Everyone has propensity to get something very easy on the account of others. Madhukanta Prabhu, do you remember please what are the other two? Like we are illusion, we are
Egoistic and prophet.
Sorry?
The same, like in short words, egoistic and a prophet from other people.
Yeah. There are four.
I
Right?
don't have perfect senses.
You don't have perfect senses
Commit mistakes.
and you commit mistakes. There are five or four?
No,
Four. Yeah. So yeah, the third one, we have imperfect senses we said in the beginning, but fourth one is that we commit mistakes, and everyone has this experience. So in order to understand the reality of nature or absolute truth, we have to accept pure wisdom from authorized scriptures, which are not condemned to these material pollutions. And by understanding this knowledge, we can conquer over the senses, and we can relish the spiritual life, the joyful life, as here is explained to come. And yeah, so as we said, this science is, this knowledge is a scientific process by which we can directly realize the self, which is the actual goal of human life. Because material nature, based on our desires, offering us so many opportunities, right? Sri Krishna is explaining Bhagavad Gita, and that the living entity, the soul, continuously passing from the baby body to the teenage age, to the adult, the old age. So the body is changing, but the soul is eternal. And in this way we can understand there are other species of life which are also expressing the living symptoms as eating, sleeping, mating, and having relationships even. So Bhagavad Gita also explained that this living soul is not only in the human body, but is in other bodies, in other species as well. And this explains Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita that there are 8,400,000 species. So this knowledge, there is a book which we were distributing, which is called Perfect Question, Perfect Answers. Maybe somebody of you have. And this book is explained, there is a question, who is the real scientist? And Srila Prabhupada is explaining the real scientist is the one who knows things as they are. Any perhaps, any maybe, any I guess or I think. No, the real scientist is one who understands things and knows things as they are. So in this way, people can accept as a guide or as a person to look to, as a inspiration to life to many people, to anyone basically. But you need to also try to understand what is the goal of this and what is this person striving to. So we are accepting Krishna because Krishna is accepted by other great personalities as a supreme who is having many forms, many energies, but he has his form which he likes the most, this form of Krishna. And in this way we can hear about Krishna because how much about God, because how much we can actually try to understand God if we don't actually have any information about him. 99% people think that God doesn't have form, only we are so great because we got a form in this human. We can touch, we can smell, we can taste, but God is just something impersonal. So in this way it's very difficult, and because of the force to act, and without knowledge of how to act, we are forced to act materially. So Bhagavad Gita and Bhakti Yoga are offering very direct, very pure wisdom how to realize God, how to realize ourselves, because we are part and parcel, like the finger of this body is part and parcel of this body, so we are same of God. So in the quality we are the same, like the gold, the small piece of gold is the same like the mountain of gold, but we are just a tiny particle. Bhakti Yoga teaches how to be united, how to be always in the highest realization, in the highest samadhi, actually the highest consciousness, connected always with the Supreme, by hearing Shravanam, because we can know, oh, Krishna, he likes the peacock feather, so we put peacock's feather here, and then we can always look in this beautiful creation of Krishna, of God, because who gave actually the art to this peacock feather, how it goes, it's beautiful, if you look. So human life is to live consciously around, I was hearing a class and it was said the flower is actually a smile of a God. So if we can see the world in this beautiful way, Krishna is also explaining, and the taste of the water, as we can realize God. So by using these ideas or using this knowledge, we can grow spiritually, and we can relish more and more the real nectar, the real joy. Because we have some joy, certain happiness in this world here and there. We were just talking yesterday as we were hiking on the Daitya, and that we are so trying to combine these elements of material world in order to get the real taste. It's like, I remember when I had the moped, like this small motorbike, and something is broken, in the engine, and you're trying this and that and this and that, maybe this screw, maybe this pipe, maybe this, and you're kicking, and it doesn't, what to say. So in the same way, we in material world, we trying, at least my experience, alright, so I make dreadlocks, I will look in this way, I will look like cool traveler, then I buy tobacco to roll, because it looks nice, traveling style. And then I will just buy a big backpack, I will travel. So maybe this way, I put this and this, like we're trying to, bring some nice colors to, and then doesn't, still something missing, so you're trying more, and then maybe I get cappuccino with, vanilla flavor that could fit today to me, and then I go there, I meet this person. So in this material way, we're trying to imitate what is already there, what is already inside us, what is the Dharma, what is the connection with Supreme, which is released from the Bhakti, from devotional service to Supreme, to Divine. And that's simply done by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And the more we purify, the more we feel nectar. And I hope you felt something, even though we are not professionals, we are trying, and everyone can try. And Krishna is saying, last Sunday we had a verse where Krishna is saying, Patram Pushpam Palam Tvam. I don't need much. Please, just with love and devotion, you offer me at least a leaf, at least a little bit of water. Madhukanta Prabhu, he has a small cup, he has a Giriraj, that's like related to Krishna's pastime. There's like a big mountain in India, in Vrindavan, which Krishna he lifted on a pinky. So there's also a way how to understand the greatness of God. People say God is great, but nobody actually understands how great he is. So Krishna is coming to express how great he is. So he lifted this hill on the pinky, and actually on the left hand, right? And then Krishna he said, this Giriraj, this Govardhan is not different from me. So devotees, they are taking, if you stand up later, then you can see you can have, we call it darshan, you can see small stone, but it's actually not just a stone, it's actually Krishna, is Giriraj, is very close servant or close friend to Krishna. And what I wanted to say is that so many great scholars, so many great philosophers, philanthropists, rich people, beautiful artists, they trying to speculate how to understand God, but God, Krishna, he said, I don't care about these people. I care if somebody with love and devotion, understanding that I am not the Supreme, I'm servant of you, offer me water, offer me leaves. So that's why I was saying, Madhukanta Prabhu, he's offering this small cup of water to Giriraj, and Giriraj, he accepted. Can you imagine? The Supreme, he come and he accepts this water. So that's an amazing actually process of bhakti, how we can engage in Krishna. God is everywhere, everyone knows, He is in the heart of everyone. I remember my friend who was very strong atheist, and then he has done, because when you become like very materialistic, the material nature is just like pushing you over and over. You can be favored, and God is trying to save everyone, so He's sending certain, like helpers like that. So he told me like, I just done so horrible thing, I couldn't talk to anyone about this thing, but I just received a call and somebody told me like, have you done this? And he said, how do you know? I was in church or in mosque, and I was praying, and somehow it came to my mind. And I just calling you, because if this had happened, then I'd be there by your side. I'll not fall down. So it was very nice story he told me, and it's really because God is for everyone. He's not Muslim. He's not only for Christian or Muslims. He's in the heart of everyone, and so he's ready to help, and so he's present, and he's seeing our acts. So we are not. I heard some voices. You are so great singers, better than me, and then Krishna he prized this person. He could have gone for like party or for like beer with a friend or to watch football, but he came here. He trying to know something more. He's trying to progress in life, and he's so happy. He's so willing to help such a person, and everyone can reciprocate by just thinking of Krishna. Krishna means the all attractive. The God doesn't have material name. We can't say God is Johnny or God is I don't know any other name, but he is called by many names. Allah means that He is great, and then I was Rastafari, so I called God Jah, and then but Krishna means that He is all attractive. He is basically surpassing all the names and accumulating them within this name, all attractive, because He is attractive for every single aspect, every single nature of everyone, every living entity, whoever search for anything. And he's absolute. He's on the same platform. His name, his form, his thinking about him, and him himself. So he made it so easy. He came in this way in the form of his holy name that you can just always think of the absolute spiritual being, Krishna, by chanting these names. Krishna means attractive. Hari is the energy, the female energy or the pleasure potency of Krishna. Hare or Radhe. And Rama means the reservoir of all pleasure. So Lord Ram, there is another incarnation of Krishna, of the Supreme, in form of Brahm, where he was a king. And there is a beautiful story. And in this way, this incarnation is revealed, and we can relate to every and each of these authorized incarnation confirmed in the scriptures, and we can think of, can chant, and especially in this age is recommended by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is in the middle. His incarnation of Krishna also actually confirmed in the scriptures, and he is explained that the most famous verse is Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama Kevalam. In this age of Kali, everything is very degraded and dark. Simply by chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra, our consciousness become lighter and lighter, become more soft, our heart become more soft, sweet, and we can live from our heart. We can live the best, because we are already spiritual. We don't need to become spiritual. We just need to purify our consciousness. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your patience, for your attention. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to discuss or to hear from you, or your experiences of maybe meditation or something. Or also we can, of course, we can continue in discussion during our prasadam feast, feast of our, how do we call it in different name? Dinner, transcendental dinner. Right?
I wanted to ask something.
Yes, please.
Because it's my first time here, first time hearing those things, and I saw that you refer to he, him, like you genderize him. Why is that?
Yes, Krishna is the supreme male. God is the supreme male. And why? Because when I was in Prague, you remember there was a class. I don't very much. It was a very beautiful class about whether God is male or female. So you remember something? Yeah, I remember. So what I can tell is that the male energy is to lead, yes, exactly. And the female energy is to serve. So in this way also the jivas are explained to be female, you can say, or of the female nature, because the female is naturally subordinated and giving a service. But God is the supreme Father, supreme giver of the seed of the creation. So He is the creator, and this creation is related always to a man's energy. So God is the supreme man. He is having this energy. He is like the energetic source, and this is related always to man. But everything emanating from God, and through His energies He can experience, and He can also come in different forms. So there are cases when God is also coming as a woman, as for example the what's her name? Mohini Murti, very beautiful woman. And also Srimati Radharani, she is energy of Krishna, pleasure potency. She's pleasure potency of Krishna. She's a woman. But Krishna is the supreme controller, He is the supreme leader. Therefore God is a man, because He's a leader, He's like, source.
Yeah, but I also think, from what I've heard and listened, it's not separated like God and this, like
Yes.
energy.
Yes.
Like God is the supreme, because Hare is the word for the feminine aspect of God.
Yes.
But when you say man, it's like, because we see in the living entities here, like actually God is said to be the only fully male that is fully leading, and all other entities here are more of a feminine energy, even though they appear as male and all. That's what can add to illusion, because sometimes you may think, like, you also think it in the concept that man leads a woman. Like that now it's a great discussion in because the male energy now is not doing such good leading, because they're like, okay, it could be a good woman serving, and all, like it used to be, because men used to be like, used to have, used to control their energy more, not like exploit. But now that it's gone like this, like a woman can't always lead men everywhere, because the consciousness is not like, so in a sense, for me it's also still a discussion going on, but I think, yeah, it's a bit like this thing, like I don't like to separate these types of energies. In a sense, they're equally important for me.
Yes. Yes. Krishna.
Since they're also both in the same
Yes.
number in the mantra.
Yes, that's very nice. But yes, Krishna is never alone. So Shrimati Radharani is always this. We don't say Krishna Hare, we say Hare Krishna. So Shrimati Radharani is the first.
Yes.
And this is the actual nature of God, that he putting himself to the position that he want to be actually subordinate. He want to be the servant. He want to be the one who protects us. Here, Krishna, he accepted the form of a charioteer, and Arjun, he wanted Arjun, his friend, to be a great fighter, great hero on the battlefield. He just said, I will not fight, I will just lead you, carry your, if we, in the material world, right, we always have this, sorry, not always, but we have the experience that, to take the subordinate, okay, I will do. Any example coming to my mind now?
Ultimately, it's because God itself is the door. You may think that you do things yourself. You don't do things yourself. Everything that God does, it does through you, and everything outside of you, He does also. Regarding to the gender itself, you may perceive this reality in male or female because it needs to be this way in a kind of plus and minus polarity. So there is a polarity always to keep the balance in the universe. There is a duality. And this duality is expressed through the sun or the moon. And these are balancing energies, let's say, which keep the universe alive and in balance. You cannot give all the energy to the masculine because the feminine will be lacking. You cannot give all the energy to the female because the male will be lacking. There is always a balance, and God itself is expressed through different forms. It doesn't mean that it needs to have a gender. It will take the shape, and it will have its energy. It will be expressed through its energy, but that's how it is presented to us. Through
No, God is a person. You need to understand this. God is not certain energy which need to be manifested to act. God is
it's
absolute.
unmanifested but also manifested because it's
This is
manifested.
this material nature, but
Yes.
but God is beyond this material nature.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, but he still comes here and performs what we
Yes,
read, all of
Because
this.
without its essence,
So there's a connection there, because otherwise why would he come if he just wanted us to realize it like that, or send subordinates or devotees or sons or anything that has come
Yes,
and
because he
brought
has
knowledge.
desire that everyone live in connection with him. So there was they were asking the same question. So this is like to say that the jails have to exist in a nation. No, they doesn't. It doesn't need to exist, but because the people are misbehaved because they don't follow the order of the state, they have to be jails as a treatment for such people. So in the same way, the souls which were rebellious toward the will of the Supreme, they were given a chance to be in material world. God is the seed, is the creator of everything, so he already existed before the creation. So from him everything is emanating.
Yeah,
And
but he's
we
also
will-
not separated from the creation.
It is not separated. Yes, of course, but that doesn't mean that God needs a material world to be sown, to be experienced. He is in spiritual world.
No,
He has
no, everything is here now. There is no distinction between now and there.
Because the nature of
Yes.
God is transcendental.
yes, Brahma.
It surpasses all this because we don't see it clearly now because
It's beyond time.
They're
it's beyond
lost. It's
space,
beyond
beyond
timeless.
anything.
so it means it's there, it's here, it's everywhere.
Yes, yes. But we are still in this atmosphere of material world. Is explained to be a cloud.
Because that's how the senses perceive it.
Yes, that's
Our senses are
that should,
clouded by
we
our
should be
body.
aware of.
But you still have this material body.
Yes.
You don't have spiritual body.
That's how we learn to experience this material body, but also
No, we don't need to experience anything of
Yeah,
material.
but didn't you say one other time before that, like to reach a material body you need to go through so many lifetimes
Yes.
of being like air or other animals or like, so it's very special, like it's very good, like it's like a very great upgrade.
Mm.
Imagine your soul could have been a crab or could have been like many lifetimes ago.
Yes, it
So
is.
like you also need to like learn like to appreciate this.
But-
Because after all, also God, when he comes into the material world, he comes with a body like us, even though it's
No.
transcendental, but it appears to us like us.
it is expressed. in
It
a-
is
in a certain
expressed.
form.
So like, I don't think like, or like, I'm not against the practice of all when I say that, but like if we don't honor also our body, because our body is like a temple, just like we put like tilak everywhere, like
Because this is
there
our
you
chance
should be,
to
but
realize
it doesn't
God.
mean that you are attached to your body. But you should give it its importance. It's not all bad, because this body is giving you the opportunity now to connect with the Lord.
Yes,
Because you're not in the body of a worm.
but still this body is temporary. Is a chance, is a gift to realize God, to realize the spiritual nature, because there are living entities who are Nitya Badha, Anitya Siddha, and Nitya Nisiddha. Nitya Siddhas, living entities, are eternally liberated. They are always with Krishna, always in spiritual world. And there are living entities who are Nitya Badhas, who are eternally polluted, who are eternally in the how do we call polluted? No, eternally Nitya Badha.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Want to see?
Yeah, polluted, conditioned.
Condition.
They are eternally conditioned. So Krishna, there's explains of the time of creation, of the time of manifestation, where Krishna is accepting the form of Mahavishnu lying on the ocean, and from his pores, from his skin, the bubbles of sweat coming, and within these bowls there are bubbles, there are particular universes, and within this particular universe again, Garbhodakasha Vishnu is lying, and from his navel Lord Brahma on the lotus flower is born out of without mother, and he is Lord Brahma. He is creating all this material world, but this is repeating again and again. Why? Because these materially polluted, conditioned entities still have the idea to enjoy this material body. So therefore, we need to first of all completely purify our senses, our consciousness by devotional service to understand what is the position of a spirit, what is the spiritual world. And spiritual world is giving a description in Bhagavad Gita that there is no need of light, there is no need of fire, of electricity to see. But here in this material world, we need electricity, we need fire, we need other sources of light. That's just one example. So yes, Brahma is everywhere. but it doesn't mean that this world is, so to say, spiritual. No, we have experience of material world duality, and this is not natural for the soul. So we can go on and on by speculating, but without actually engaging. That's explained here in Bhagavad Gita. Without actually engaging in devotional service, it will not be understood by anyone, because Krishna is not interested in speculation, in philosophy. He is actually interested in bhakti, that one wants to engage in devotional service and then he can give the knowledge. Therefore he is also called giver of the liberation, Muktya, but Krishna is called
Muktakesh.
Muktakesh, yeah. Can say?
Mukunda.
Mukunda, yes, thank you. Mukunda, giver of the liberation from the material world. So all these scriptures, whether it is Christian, Muslim, they deal with this topic that the material world is not natural and this is not the place to establish the life. But of course, it can be used in this way to realize spiritual nature. Therefore, in the spiritual world. Therefore, in this purpose, it explains that the bhakti, even though looks not like a material life, is completely spiritual, is completely transcendental. Where after leaving the material body, the soul returns back to spiritual world. So, yeah, we having this experience because the mind is still polluted by desire to enjoy this body, by desire to be a ruler, by desire to be God. So once we give up of this idea of being a God, we can return to spiritual world, and this can be done by purification, because we may have certain understanding this and that, but without the real firm understanding or experience, we don't understand much.
Eric,
Right?
it was Eric, right?
Yeah.
I want to leave. Thank you so much for
Please
joining.
stay with us. We gonna serve prasadam. We little going.
I'm a
over.
bit sick actually. I wish I could.
So we can. Really, it's like 20 minutes if you can take, or otherwise we can also pack you, no problem.
It's okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you. Tk you.
Thank you so much
Thank you
for
good night.
lady. No.
Sergey.
Sergey.
That was
Sergey.
close enough, yeah?
Sergey. I'm so sorry that you need to leave. I don't know.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the body has to do itself. There's not much I
Yeah.
can do about it.
Yeah,
I was glad that I could come anyways, because I wouldn't come at all. But I started feeling better with it.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Don't you want to try a nice chutney? It might help.
Oh, I really would actually. I really would, but my nose is flowing right now,
Yeah.
and I'm feeling really unsettled.
Yeah, sure. But maybe we can pack him in this.
Okay, that would be very nice.
He will be happy.
So ginger
Maybe
will help.
that's-
Yeah, we have a ginger.
But
We got ginger here?
Ginger
Yeah.
tea, yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
You can
Yeah, we can.
eat if
We take care of you.
Definitely.
All right. Srila Bhagavad Gita is ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much, Eric.
As well.
Thank
Sergey.
you.
Yeah, please. Take
Here we go.
Take it, please. We can, bro. I don't know if it is so
Thank you
bad
so
with
much.
you. We can roll up this carpet. Alright.
Doing some.
I need more. Yes, thank you.
You want it to like this?
So much.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. Today I took illegal longer this program before the winter break. That's Jay.
Thank you very much.